Good afternoon, grade 9s. We are doing our last lesson for our rational numbers unit today, lesson number 9. Right, so take out your notebooks, make sure that we write the date down. And then today is lesson 9. Let me just check. Lesson 9, solving problems with rational numbers. So keep in mind that your unit exam is coming up, as this is the last lesson in the unit. All right, so let's do a couple background questions. This is prior knowledge that you should have to doing these questions. So if I asked you to find 2/3 of 30. So find 2/3 of 30. Would you be able to do it? So find 2/3 of 30. I remember last year I taught you that of usually means multiply, and it's no different here. To find 2/3 of 30, we are going to take 2/3 and we are going to multiply it by 30. So a review of multiplying fractions here. You need to first off write them both as fractions, improper fractions. So 30 over 1 is our improper fraction here. Then we multiply straight across. 2 times 30 is 60. And straight across the bottom, 3 times 1 is 3. 60 divided by 3, we can simplify that to 20 over 1, which is just 20. So 2/3 of 30 is 20. You might have been able to look at that and find it out, but here's how you find it mathematically. All right, so there's one question. Let's try a different one. Find 3/4. This time I'm going to write out the words. 3/4 of 84. So this one's a little bit trickier. You can't look at it and say, well, I know what 3/4 of 84 is, so let's use our method. 3/4, write that as a fraction. 3 over 4. We're going to take that and we're going to multiply it by 84. We have to write 84 as a fraction, so we can put it over 1. 3 times 84 is 252. 4 times 1 is 4, so we have 252 divided by 4, which just happens to equal 63. We can divide both top and bottom by 4 to get 63 over 1, which is 63. All right, so here is background knowledge that's a little bit trickier, but hopefully not too bad. So this question says, if 2/3 of a pizza has been eaten, what portion is left? Oops, portion is left. So 2/3 of a pizza has been eaten, 1 portion is left. So some of you might be able to look at that and know the answer right away. However, let's figure out how to find that out algebraically. So first off, you should be able to gather from here that we're going to be subtracting. We start with a whole pizza, then we eat 2/3 of it. So we take away 2/3. So we have 1 pizza and we subtract 2/3. So now we have a bit of a subtracting fractions review. If I want to be able to subtract these, I need to be able to write both of them as a fraction with the same denominator. So I can write 1 as a fraction by placing it over 1. However, I still don't have common denominators. I have a 1 and a 3. So I need to multiply my first fraction by 3 over 3. That gives me 3 times 1, which is 3, and 3 times 1, which is 3 on the bottom as well. So we have 3 over 3 minus 2 over 3. My next step in subtracting fractions is to subtract the top while leaving the bottom the same. So 3 minus 2 is 1, and 3 stays the same. So my answer is 1 over 3. Like I said, some of you might have been able to get that. However, you need to be able to show it mathematically as well. All right, let's move on to some examples. I have 2 examples for you today, so not too many. Let's get going. All right, example 1. At the beginning of June, the Frosty Company was in debt $235.46. Make sure you're copying this down. By the end of August, it increased its debt by $156.71. So the first question for you is use a rational number to represent each amount. So remember, a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. These numbers can be written in fractions because they're decimals that don't go on and on forever in no particular pattern. So use a rational number to represent each amount. It says it was in debt $235. In debt means that it's going to be a negative number. So the first one is going to be negative 235.46 because it's in debt, below zero. They don't have enough money in their bank account. The second number says it increased its debt by 156. This is tricky because it says increase. That makes you believe that it should be positive. However, you're increasing your debt, which means you're getting more negative. So this second rational number is also going to be negative 156.71. And then the second question here asks you to calculate the total debt in August. So we started with $235.46, and then we went more in debt by 156.71. So negative 235.46 minus 156, since you're subtracting, you can actually just add those numbers together and put a negative sign in front. So that gives you negative 392.17, and we'll add the dollars in front. So they're now in debt by $392.17. All right, next example. Pause the video if you didn't have enough time to write it down. Example number 2. This is a good example for cooking class as well. We have Brianna's recipe for apple fritters makes 20 fritters. that's a comma, and uses 2/3 cup milk. Brianna wants to make 5 fritters. Why? I'm not sure. I'd rather have 20. And then the question, how much milk will she need? So let's write down what we know. We know that 20 fritters needs 2/3 of a cup of milk. We also know that the second one, we want 5 fritters, and we have an unknown value. You could put a question mark there too. So I look at this and I say, well, what are we doing to get from 20 to 5? What did we have to do to the recipe? Well, we divided it by 4. 20 divided by 4, so in order to get this number, we had to divide by 4. So in order to get the same amount of milk that I would need, I would also have to take the amount of milk and divide it by 4. So let's do that. So let's take 2/3 and divide it by 4. 2/3 divided by 4, well, we have to first off make sure that they're both fractions. So change 4 to an improper fraction is 4/1. And then we're going to use my favorite method, kiss and flip. Change this to a multiplication sign and flip my second fraction. We have 2/3 times 1/4. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 4 is 12. 2/12 equals 1/6 of a cup of milk. Perfect. So if she only wants 5 fritters, she needs to use 1/6 cup of milk. All right, your turn. Time to complete word problem worksheet. You can pause it if you still need to get this down.